Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to start, so please find your seats because we're going to start talking and playing the national anthem soon, and everybody should be situated for that. Welcome. This is, as you know, the only time all year that every teacher and every administrator is in the same room at one time. So we should say Happy New Year, shouldn't we? It's a Happy New Year in the Springdale School District. For those of you who are new, welcome to the second largest district in the state of Arkansas. Monday, as Dr. Rollins told the teachers at the breakfast today, and yesterday I'm sure that we'll have nearly 22,000 kids in our district. That is overwhelming. Do you know, as you sit here, and you probably heard this at the chamber breakfast as well, that the Springdale School District is the second largest employer in the city of Springdale. So be proud of what you do, be excited for what you do, and we're about to embark on a great year. And there's nothing like opening day, is there? I've used that before. This is opening day, it's great, and Monday's going to be the opening day when kids come, and we're all ready for a very exciting year. We've got a lot of kids participating today. I think you're going to enjoy that. There's nothing like the students themselves sharing with you why you are important. First thing we're going to do is have the presentation of the colors by three officers from the HAR-BER High School FFA. They are Ashley Mueller, Sarah Glenn, and Kirsten Schaefer. Now entering our stage are Springdale Choral Directors led by Mr. Randy Irwin, and they are going to lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red cradles bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Absolutely beautiful. We will now be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by members of the Springdale High School FFA, Jessica Lester, Taylor Webb, and Cameron Sanders.
Will you please join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all be seated. It's been my distinct pleasure and privilege to address you each of the last 2 days. Today is a very, very special event. I hope for those of you who've experienced it in the past, you would agree, well, it always is, and it certainly is today. I would like to just pose one question, and I just asked myself this question as I had about 100 things going through my mind at once. The question was, what really matters? Will you ask yourself that? What really matters? To me, the answer was clear, and it came forward immediately. What matters is service to these children, for all of us to do our work at the highest possible level and to serve them at the highest level we can, to help them understand who they can become. You know, I have said to you virtually every time I've ever stood in front of you, this is a great team. I think it's the finest team imaginable myself, but one that can only get better because of the nature of who we are. That's our passion. That's what drives us. And I think to a great degree, that's what's led to the kind of achievement that we've seen come forward from each of your children. We put this agenda together today to demonstrate to you what your work has produced. Great teams produce. Great teams produce great results. In our work, what we do must transfer to our children, and it must come forward in terms of their advanced learning. So I want you to see that and to understand it today and to enjoy the contributions that our young people will make. And again, I want you to understand the role you've played in terms of preparing them for that contribution. I was looking for just the right term. There's so many powerful videos out there that helps capture the moment. As we all know, we're going to have a lot of kids here on Monday, a lot of kids. And as I've said to you so many times, a lot of opportunity. I would suggest to you that there's a maestro in each of them. And I want you to enjoy this video for just a moment to help us set the stage for today's meeting. Hey, Jason, step out here with me. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Way too simple, but I'll say it anyway. All we have to do is make the connection. right? We just have to find ways to bring that out in each of their children. Now, I want you to take a look at this following video clip, because where does it start? Does it start when they're 1 or 2 or 3 or just when? Is this not the greatest profession in the world? It just is. That has been on my mind so much in the last several days. Just seeing young people and the potential that they all have, and just think, we have the opportunity to be a part of that, and I expect you feel exactly the same way. Let's say this together, and let's say it together. I may wear you out with it, but that's okay with me. I don't think I will, because I think it will become your mantra as well. The Springdale School District. Let's say it together. The Springdale School District, is growing in prominence, at the local, at the state, and at the national levels. And here's the kicker. Too much coaching. I'm sorry. Our children are leading the way. Our children are leading the way. You will see that demonstrated over and over and over again today. I don't want you to push back from this. I want you to be a part of it. It's your work that's making the connection, that's setting the stage so that these children can demonstrate to all concerned their potential and promise. I've shared quite a bit of achievement information, and I so enjoy doing it because, again, it's your work, and I want you to understand that. I certainly could not touch all of the pieces in the time that we have today, but just some thoughts, maybe that are a little different than what I'd shared yesterday and this morning. The graduation rates in our high school have reached an all-time high. %87% here at Springdale High School this past year, 93% at HAR-BER High School. That's the right direction, y'all. When our graduation rates increase, everyone in this audience is a part of that achievement, and we need to understand it that way. We're going to talk about a whole gamut of things today. I want us all to understand pre-K, kindergarten, 1 through 5, middle schools, junior highs, high schools. This is a team. This is a team that works together in service to our children. Listen to this. Our ALE did some phenomenal work, and has over time, but especially in the last 2 years. Our alternative high school, the literacy and the numeracy scores at the Archer Learning Center came alongside the student achievement of our 2 traditional high schools. Will you recognize that, please? ALE teachers, please stand and let us thank you personally. We're so proud of you and the work that you did. That's beautiful. To extend it now, to deepen it, that's exactly what we want to do. The district's East programs have been recognized as the best in the nation. As the best in the nation. Will you recognize that, please? East teachers, please stand. Where are our East teachers? Y'all stand and let us thank you. There they are. Thank you all very much. Remington, thank you. You're very aware of the Race to the Top grant. Those East numbers are going to grow and increase as we add additional East labs to the district. Those then, again, can become models for every school. And it would be our hope as we can bring resources together that we could have that kind of experience in each of our schools for our children. In just a few minutes, you're going to hear the George Junior High Band. They helped us open school last year. Just so happens a wonderful recognition has come to them since that period of time. The George Junior High Band, the first in the state of Arkansas to be invited to perform at the International Midwest Conference in Chicago. Let's recognize Mr. Eccles and that group. You'll get to enjoy them personally in just a moment. They're just phenomenal young people, maestros, every one of them. Tyson Middle School received distinguished status from the state of Arkansas for their overall academic achievement, advanced status. Will y'all please stand? Tyson Middle School. This past year, there were 9 schools in the state to receive that wonderful recognition, and our Tyson Middle School earned that. Today, we have more than 120 National Board certified teachers in the room, teachers who've made it their personal goal to continue to grow and advance themselves. Can I ask our National Board certified teachers to stand? Let's recognize them. I've got to tell you this, just it's kind of a glib remark on my part, but I want you to understand the merit of it. Because I'm your superintendent, I was invited to go to Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago and talk with certain groups about educational issues. I thought, wow, I'm really coming along here. At the same time, Justin Minkle was having lunch with the President of the United States. Justin, please stand. We're so proud of you. Where are you? I talked to y'all yesterday and today about telling the Springdale story. Justin's been sharing the Springdale story for a number of years. And all of us want to continue to grow this magnificent story so that we can share it with others. It's always been our goal to bring models forward that would help our kids, and then that those models might transfer anywhere in the country. And Justin's helping make that happen. We're so very proud of him. Just in the last couple of weeks, our team from Springdale High School was recognized by the high schools that work network, a part of the Southern Region Education Board. It's one of the finest career and technical programs in the country. We're so proud of the staff in this district and those teachers who've made that happen. CTE teachers across the district, will you please stand? Applied learning, applied learning, applied learning, rigor, relevance, relationships. That's what we're all looking for, no matter what our subject areas might be. Let me just talk a little bit more about personal recognitions that perhaps I did not reference in our prior 2 meetings. Ms. Jody Elsasser, Sonora Middle School, received the prestigious Art Educator of the Year Award presented by the Arkansas Art Educators Association. Jody, would you please stand and let us thank you? One of my very favorite people in this world, Mr. Don Hoover. Don, will you please stand? Don is the current Arkansas Secondary Principal of the Year. Great leadership at Georgetown. I referenced this morning as I addressed our elementary teachers that last year we had two very special people recognized as Administrators of the Year. Ms. Dondi Freisinger, our elementary principal at Walker Elementary, and then our Assistant Principal of the Year, Andy Acuff, Assistant Principal at Monitor, both named by their associations as their Administrator of the Year. What I didn't mention at the same time, there stands Mr. Hoover as the Secondary Principal of the Year. Is that not a phenomenal accomplishment for this district? I want, again, I want everybody to understand that those kind of things happen when you have a team that's dedicated to serving children at the highest possible level. None of us are finished practitioners. We haven't got it all figured out yet. That's why I said with both days, I can only imagine, can hardly wait to see what you'll do this year. Starting over again, another year of experience, more professional development, a team that's grown in terms of their expertise to serve children. All of that is a part of this culture that Springdale teachers and principals in partnership with moms and dads have created over time. And now we have the opportunity to add to that again this year. Please be clear. When a district looks at its program of service and identifies key elements that they think really have merit and brings that together in written form and puts it in a grant application and sends it to the U.S. Department of Education, it represents the work of every educator in this room today. The Race to the Top grant was given to the Springdale School District because of your work. Everyone in this district who contributed to that. Dr. Jones and the instructional team did a wonderful job bringing those things forward. But she has said, and I've tried to say repeatedly, there's nothing new in that grant. There's nothing new in terms of the programs of service. What it is an accumulation of great experiences over time that we believe have helped our children, help this district grow, and can help other districts across the country. The U.S. Department of Education agreed with that and conveyed almost $26 million to our schools to do what? To deepen the work, to expand it, to extend it, to better serve kids. There were over 200 grants submitted as a part of the Race to the Top process. 5 grants were, in the end, funded in some form. The Springdale School District was a district grant. The other grants that were brought together were consortia of school districts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a reflection of this nation's confidence in your work. Congratulations for a job well done. Now, I want to try to set the stage again to usher our teachers and our children forward so that you can see the outcome of your work. Great teams do what? Great teams produce. They produce excellent results. I want to invite Mr. Josh Worthy, who's the Springdale Teacher of the Year and our nominee to the state as the Arkansas State Teacher of the Year, and 2 of his very distinguished students that he will recognize to help set the stage for today's meeting. Invite Josh and his students forward. Will you do that?
Thank you, Dr. Rollins. That was a great introduction, but it really needs to go to our kids because that's what this is all about. We've had a great year, and East is growing in Springdale with some great opportunities. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is the opportunities that you get to help create in your classroom. That all starts Monday. We've got, what, 20,000 kids? 22,000 kids that are hungry. They've been sitting around going on vacation. They're hungry for an opportunity. And that's our job as teachers, provide a safe environment for them, but to also connect them with some really amazing opportunities. We have two very special young ladies that had an amazing opportunity this summer to speak to 15,000 professional GIS users at the Esri International User Conference this summer in San Diego, California. Now, this wasn't 15,000 warm bodies. This was 15,000 professionals that use Esri software. Esri is the leading GIS software provider in the country, or not even the country, the world, the whole world. And GIS stands for Global Information Systems. And so they create maps using longitude and latitude lines, altitude. They create 3D environments. It's used by NASA. It's used by the US military. City planning, Starbucks uses it to where they're going to put the next Starbucks somewhere in China or wherever. They put like a new Starbucks every 3 days somewhere in China. So there's a lot of growth there. They make a map for that. Which the girls had the opportunity to show their projects that they did in their small classroom back in our school, and show how they use the same software, same exact software to solve some pretty cool problems. So I'm going to hand it over to Ricky Vaughn, who made sure to let me know that she's no longer 9 years old, she is 10 years old. And she's no longer in 4th grade, she's double digits and in 5th grade, so she refuses to be called a little kid anymore. But they're going to show you some of the projects that they've done this year. So take it away.
Hi. We've been able to work on some pretty large maps with Esri software. Today we're going to show you a 3-part story map. Camp Alliance is a nonprofit organization that helps kids and families of active military students. We needed to identify 500 Walmart store locations in relation to military population. We are going to show you how we solve this problem using ArcMap. In the purple, you can see the population of veterans in each county of the U.S. The darker purple means there's a larger veteran population, and the lighter purple means there's a smaller population. Our next layer, the orange dots, each represent the stores, the Walmart stores all over the U.S. There are over 4,000 stores nationwide. Our final layer, the blue dots, each represent the 500 stores that we have selected to place this product in. Armed with this data, our classmate, Morgan Bergstrom, went to the board of directors of the largest retailer in the world and convinced them to place this special Camp Alliance product in 500 of their stores nationwide. This is a really cool project because we were able to work with a local nonprofit and a large corporation. Thanks.
Tell a story with GIS software so it's presentable to you guys. And once upon a time, it was believed that you had to have a graduate level degree to manipulate this data and to interpret it. And we've kind of shown that actually no, you can use it in elementary school. And that was a great opportunity because it's in a message. It's in a very strong message. Several years ago, there was an opportunity with Mr. Tim Stevenson, who, if you were here last year, you got to hear him. He was a funny guy that founded East and told a great story. But he had an opportunity about 15 years ago to meet up with Mr. Jack Danger, the founder of Esri. And with that conversation, that connection of education to a community partner, they partnered up. And ArcGIS Desktop has been on every single computer in every single East classroom nationwide. To load Arc Desktop onto this computer, it costs $30,000. It's professional grade. It's the real deal. It's not watered down education stuff. It's the real deal. Something really cool happened this summer, though. Through an initiative called the Connect Ed Initiative out of the White House. They are providing professional grade software to teachers for free. And Jack Dangerman, who we got to meet and have lunch with, really cool guy. And Esri, they're donating $1 billion to this initiative. And so not only do cool programs like East get to use ArcGIS, every single K through 12th grade classroom can now use this professional grade software for free. And that's huge. And so that's why these two girls were invited to San Diego to show that it's possible for kids to use this. It's a huge opportunity, but it's just a tool. We as teachers have to allow the opportunity to happen. So Kylie's going to show our next project, which is pretty cool. I think you're going to like it. And it involves a little bit of math, a little bit of science, even a little bit of social studies. But more importantly, it's an opportunity to connect to a great community. Take it away.
Hi. Let's scale down a little bit and look at a project involving just a couple of states. We wanted to launch a weather balloon at our school, see how high it could go, and then try and find it. In April, we launched a professional-grade weather balloon which traveled through 4 states and ended up in Scottsville, Kentucky. It got caught up in a very active jet stream, which blew over 100 miles per hour. We used our Spot GPS receiver to track the balloon and record its longitude, latitude, and altitude. Now you can see the path that our balloon took. Let's switch over to Art Globe. We can even see a 3D animation of our balloon's journey. Here you can see the altitude of the balloon. We had a bit of missing data due to Spot only being able to detect altitude up to 80,000 feet. The red dots show the estimated altitude changes that our balloon made during the 6-hour trip. Our balloon climbed to nearly 100,000 feet and 600 miles during its flight. Since we couldn't drive all the way to Kentucky to retrieve our balloon, we reached out to a school called Scottsville High School. They were able to get our balloon out of a tree and ship it back to us. We were able to retrieve our data and see the temperature change during the trip. This was a pretty awesome project to work on. Thanks.
Go about 100 miles, and I'm in the car with 2 5th-grade boys, and we're trying to find this thing, and it screwed up, but that's okay, because the learning that took place in the next 2 to 3 weeks was more than anything I could do in front of a podium. You can see we started off with a really large project that affected 50 states and 2 territories, the largest retailer in the world, and Camp Alliance, which was easy because we had a student whose mom was the CEO of this nonprofit, Camp Alliance. It was an easy connection. We just had to have the conversations to make that connection. But maybe this hasn't sold you on maybe giving this a try. Maybe you're not sold on the opportunity. We've got one more project that we're going to show you that will affect any teacher in this classroom, because it's going to affect her classroom, auditorium, because it's going to affect Springdale. And this is really special too because it's Kylie and Rick Z's project. These first 2 projects were projects some other kids worked on, and they're sharing with you because they're happy about it. But this is their bread and butter. So they're going to show you one final project that affects Springdale.
We've been able to use this software even on the local scale. By switching back to ArcMap, we were able to do a project that has specifically helped our school. Literacy test scores are really important in schools these days. So we partnered up with our principal to create a library on wheels that would run during the summer months so that low-income students would be able to have a book in their hand all summer long. We got a donated van by a local car dealership to serve as our mobile library. Our school has over 700 students, so we wanted to map out all of the addresses to show where our students live. Each orange dot represents a household in the Sonora Elementary attendance zone. Most of these dots are apartment complexes, so we literally have families sitting on top of each other on this map. As you can see, we have several distinct pockets of students all over our attendance zone. Our mobile library hit the road in early June. You can see our 10 distinct stops that serve well over 700 students. We've been keeping track of who has been coming and how often to tell if we are making a difference. These are just a few ways we use GIS software on large and small projects in our school. Thanks.
So the software not going to do anything. We have to give time for the kids to make a connection. And it's available to your kids, it's available to your classroom, it's available to teachers, and it's available to your programmers. Now on the screen, we've provided a couple of links to help you get started, okay? This is just one of the tools that's available for you. geomentor.org is a website through Esri that hooks you up with a community partner that is a GIS professional. This includes city planners, could be people from Walmart. We met about 20 people in San Diego that were just from Bentonville. You know, that's an easy partnership. We had 61 vendors this morning and yesterday morning that use GIS technology for their job, and they want to talk to your kids. It's a great way that you can partner up with people. The best way is talk to your kids. Ask what their parents do, and they're going to be able to connect with you as well. The Connect Ed Esri link is also a way that you can get this software because it's available this fall to everybody, not just East, but everybody. And it works in every single discipline, not just geography. The software, along with many other tools through the Race to the Top grant and Google Chromebooks, iPads, Adobe is making Photoshop and Illustrator and Adobe Premiere available on this as well. You just have so many tools that are at your fingertips because of these opportunities. It works in East because that's how things are designed in East, but it can work in your classroom as well. When we left San Diego, I kind of made a challenge to all the GIS professionals in the room for them to go back home and partner up with the school. I'm going to challenge our teachers the same way. I want everybody to do an East project this year. Every single teacher to do some sort of East project. Go out in the community and form a relationship with somebody. It can be your spouse. It can be brother and sister. What are they good at? And connect them up with one of your students, two of your students, a group of your students. You can set off a weather balloon on Saturday morning. You can drive to Mayflower, Arkansas and do some tornado relief work. Or you can even bring a professional into your classroom. Use Skype, use Google Hangouts, but go beyond the syllabus and go beyond the rows in the textbook. Create something that's bigger than your classroom. If each of us today could do that and make that bond that we already have with our kids, but increase it with the community, we're going to have an awesome day. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you for showing us what educational excellence can look like. Give them a hand, will you please, one more time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great job. Springdale students leading the way. Let me introduce our principal at J.O. Kelly Middle School, Ms. Sarah Ford, to give you another great example. Sarah.
The little children will lead them. I've thought a lot about that this summer. Through the years, my best teachers have been the 12, 13, 11-year-olds and their families that I have the privilege of working with every day. Our kids here in Springdale are absolutely amazing, and I would challenge us all to take the time to listen and to learn from them. I see them in action in the classroom doing things with technology like we've just seen here that I certainly don't know how to do. But my prayer is always that my limitations don't limit them, and that we never underestimate the power of letting go and letting them, because they can do it. You're getting ready to meet an incredible person. She's about this tall, and this girl's going places. Savannah Butterfield is a student at J.O. Kelly, and last year, there you go. And last year, as a 6th grader, she addressed a group of 300 of Northwest Arkansas's leaders in technology. And she laid it on them because she told them exactly what she needs from them. And today, teachers, she's going to tell you what she needs from you. So please, be a listener and a learner. As our kids tell us what they need from us, they will lead us, and they will lead us well. And if we listen, and if we let them. So please welcome Savannah Butterfield. All right, Savannah, let's do it like this. How about this? We not have a stool? Hang on just a second.
Stand up on that. There you go. Just stand up.
Here, we've got a stool. How about this? There. There we go. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Savannah Butterfield, and I am here representing my robotics team, Heavy Metal, and my school, J.O. Kelly Middle School. We chose a robotics team name, Heavy Metal, spelled M-E-T-T-L-E, because metal means spirited determination, courage, perseverance, and bravery. And we aren't afraid of setting big, audacious goals. Even though we may not succeed on the first try, or the 10th try, or even the 100th try, we know we have the mettle it takes to represent Springdale schools in a great way. This year, the theme for our first LEGO League Robotics Challenge is World-Class Learning. We will build and program a robot and prepare a skit that demonstrates our research knowledge and innovative solution for the world-class topic. Even though we don't know the full challenge yet, we are already researching creative ideas on how we would like to redesign the way we gather and apply knowledge and skills. No one knows exactly what our future holds, but as President Abraham Lincoln once said, the best way to predict your future is to create it, and that's exactly what my team and I are doing. We're working together to create world-class learning. For me, one thing we know will be included in world-class learning is STEM education. STEM is an acronym that stands for the disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In my school career, I have experienced classrooms that have a focus on STEM and some that aren't quite there yet. But I know as a future microbiologist, classes that force me to think critically, to collaborate with others on meaningful real-world projects, and to come up with creative innovations better prepare me for my bright future. STEM and world-class learning is for everyone. It's not just for the high-performing students, as the majority of careers lead right back to STEM. For students, project-based learning, such as our robotics challenges, my science fair project, and our new EAST program, all help me to apply the components of STEM, practice problem-solving skills, apply research skills, and work collaboratively with my friends. All things that will be important when I get a real job. World-class learning also involves partnerships. One of the greatest challenges that our robotics team faced last year was finding mentors in highly skilled technology areas. But I'm happy to say that we found a solution to the problem by Skyping with Mr. Michael Palladino. He helped us create a prototype of our app for our robotics project. Those technical assistance meetings were so important to our team, and everyone coming together to share resources and information add meaning to my learning and bring my projects to a much higher level. The technology that we have in Springdale actually tears the walls down of the school and can give my friends and I access to people who are experts in the specific areas that I need help in. The possibilities are endless. Ms. Ford says that teachers these days need a big, fat Rolodex of resources. I'm not actually sure what that is, but she says it's a good thing. My robotics team plans to invite educators from across our district and from around the world to partner with us on designing solutions for the future of our learning. So be looking for an invitation to our Google document and consider sharing your best ideas for improving the future of learning. Springdale educators are world-class innovators, and I can't wait to collaborate with you on this year's challenge.
As I close, I want to thank you all for allowing me to share my thoughts and ideas, and I challenge you to think about what world-class learning means for your classroom. How are you going to ensure that your kids get the things they need to compete with kids worldwide? Next week, we're all showing up in your classrooms, and the kids of Springdale need you, and we're depending on you. Let's build world-class learning together for all kids, because that's how we do things in Springdale. I know I can't wait to get started next week. Thank you.
Okay. We may have some future presidents in the room, right? I was thinking there she'd be pretty good at public relations. She might go a lot higher than that. Students are leading the way. We're going to see a lot of that. You know, it's interesting. I didn't even think about this till I was sitting here. Dr. Rollins is famous. He didn't even introduce himself. And I'm not so famous, but I've done communications for the district for several years. My name's Rick Schaefer. Several of you are new. And I just want to share with you that I'm part of a 2,300-member public relations team. And that means all of you are members of that public relations team as well. And I want to share with you that even as we share the good stories of Springdale kids and Springdale teachers, we need your help. We need your help. We've just hired a young lady named Lauren Taylor. She can stand up here for a second. I just want you to see her face, because the two of us are going to be out in your schools, and the only time we want to be in our office is when we're documenting what you've shared with us. And we've gone through principles, and principles have been very good, but each one of you has stories to tell. And we have almost 22,000 kids in our district. Every one of them has a story to tell. You know, I'm sitting here, I talked earlier today, you all recognize the gentleman that gave 41 telescopes and 41 microscopes to every school in our district. That is an astonishing gift. But I was sharing with him, before he went up and talked, I talked to him about our East programs and our STEM programs, and I told him, I said, you know, we have one of two students in the state of Arkansas that was accepted and got a full scholarship to MIT this year, one of two in the state. There are a lot of future kids like that out there. You need to tell us who they are, and we need to tell their stories. So please call us, email us, text us, do whatever it takes, and put us in your buildings. We need to be there every day. One of the great stories in our district is the group that you're about to hear from. Now, Dr. Rollins told you that this is the first junior high band in the history of the state of Arkansas to be asked to perform at the Midwest Clinic in Chicago. I think most of us found out, yeah, go ahead, you can cheer for that. Most of us found out a couple years ago when HAR-BER went what a prestigious honor that is. Well, just think about this. Since they've been picking bands like this, the only three to perform at the Midwest Clinic are Springdale High School, HAR-BER High School, and George Junior High, out of the whole state of Arkansas. So let's enjoy them. This is the George Junior High Band that's going to be going to Chicago in the Midwest Clinic.
Okay, what did I say? Springdale kids leading the way, did I say that? Ricky, Kylie, Savannah, George Junior High, great beginning to our program today. Did you enjoy it? During the past year, I was in the audience, and the presenter was Mr. Thomas Friedman. Many of us have read his writings. The world is flat. The world is flat and getting flatter. And I listened intently to his comments, and he talked about students should leave our schools innovation ready. And I knew that was a stretch for us, and it would be a stretch for most districts in the country today, but it certainly added many additional thoughts to my thought process, and I think the thought process of our school board members who also heard that presentation. Our students should graduate innovation ready. And he talked about the 7 billion people in the world today, and he talked about how we're preparing kids to go out in a world where they have to compete for jobs, to compete for their very future. And as I've said so often, I think about our work and the nature of our work and are preparing our kids. And as we put today's program together, that was very much on our mind. We have one of the nation's most distinguished scientists living right here in Springdale, and bringing his company forward. His thought process as he interacts with people from around the world obviously reflects much of the sentiment that Friedman had to bring forward. Our keynote speaker this morning or this afternoon is Dr. A.J. Malshe. He is a leading pioneer in the field of nanomanufacturing and in the science of convergent assembly of nanomaterials for real-world breakthrough engineering applications. He's the founder and chief technology officer of Nano-Mech, Inc., which is located here on East Emma. He started the business in 2002. Nano-Mech Associates represents the best of the best scientists and engineers who think small to deliver world-class product innovations. Dr. Malshe is recognized worldwide for a number of award-winning inventions and discoveries, many of which are now real products in a wide variety of areas. He's received more than 30 national and international awards and recognitions. He's authored more than 200 peer-reviewed publications, as well as 13 books and book chapters, and he holds 11 allowed patents and multiple patents that are pending. Dr. Malshe's worldwide business and technology experience in the past 10 years spans multiple roles, including successfully translating breakthrough nanotechnologies from tabletop to the factory floor, building a team of people with complementary and compatible skills for accelerating tech transfer and commercialization in record time, assembling winning grant proposals and teams for successful completions of those projects. He's known for his executive leadership, his synergistic tech and public networking and outreach for businesses, and his work with skilled and unskilled associates with diversity in disciplines and culture. We are learners. We're in the learning business to develop new perspectives that might help us better serve our children is certainly what we're all about. Please help me welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. A.J. Malshe.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a good afternoon. Welcome to the new school year, and I'm sure you are all excited about. Before I start my talk, I would like to thank Dr. Rowling. He's always been a very cordial, warm greeter and became the friend over the time, if I may call, and thank you very much for that. I came to Arkansas by accident, but I live here by choice. And I live here by choice and live here proudly. My family and myself, we decided Arkansas as a home. And over the time, my accent has combined from India, Ohio, and Arkansas. So if you could not follow me, it's just the blame of Ohio and India. It's not the Arkansas. So I just wanted to let you know that. I did see the school and the Springdale School District through the lens of my wife's experience. My wife was a school teacher at George Junior High, Mr. Don Hoover, who is the leadership at that school. And she worked with many, many dedicated teachers, and I have seen the school district very closely. She was a math teacher, and she loved what she did. And so I have a little bit of experience understanding a teacher's life and the challenges and the opportunity both. And then, over the time as I grew up, I will tell you that people talk about that you need to be good in math, you need to be good in science, you need to be good in engineering. And to tell you the truth, you really need to be good in what you love and like. That's what you need to be good in. Because when I was growing up in the school, I come from India, and the peer pressure from math and science and medicine and doctor is outrageous. It's out of control. When I came first home, and I told my dad and mom that I do not want to be a doctor or an engineer, but I want to be a physicist. And they thought that I'm out of job before even I start my education. They said, who is going to give a job to a physicist of all? But I told them that I do not know, but I will figure that out. And the skill of figuring it out is what I really kept with me. I came to United States with only one hope, that I want to take my ideas to product. I became distinguished professor at University of Arkansas completely by accident. I discovered my liking for teaching. I did not come to this country to become a professor. I came to become a technologist, you call innovator, because I always felt I had an ideas. Always. So I came to this country with $45 in my pocket, one suitcase, and big support from my wife that I trust you, you go and figure it out. That's it. I mean, if you think I knew nobody, in fact, I did not know there is a 1-800 number to call somebody. So when I came to this country, what I was blessed with is, every time I listen to our national anthem, it is just inspiring. It gives me goosebumps. It's the land of the free and the country of the brave. When I came here, I completely had the freedom to call anybody, talk to anybody, and I brought my IQ, and what I learned is the EQ, emotional quotient, how to communicate, how to people. So today what I'm going to talk to you is really what I preach, I practice. You use the word practitioner, so I became really a practitioner. As a faculty, I wrote 200 journal publications. Means when people look at that, they say, wow, it is too much. But they're all collecting dust. No part of the society that you all paid for is using it. So I decided to become a practitioner, that what I discovered, I want to make products and economy and create jobs. And I met many, many, many smart people, like Jim Phillips, who was an executive at Motorola, started many businesses, became multi-billionaire. Founding family of Motorola, Chris Galvin, just one of the most humble people. And I'm going to present to you that what I'm practicing and what it could become. Our dream and our goal in the process is to build the Google of material science right here in Springdale. This is what we are working on. So when I started this, Dr. Rowland, as subtle but as effective he is, he gave me a topic called how to prepare students for success in the uncertain world. And that was a very powerful topic, and I work very closely with the nation's top CEOs, chief technology officers, labor leaders, and the presidents of the top 15 schools. It is called U.S. Council on Competitiveness. We develop the recommendations, and we provide them to White House and the Congress and a variety of others. So during that process, we always think about this uncertain world part of it, and it is very uncertain right now, and it is getting more and more complex and complicated. But what I would like to always do is focus locally and also act globally, but you do want to look at the complexities of the globe. And so to look at that, I look at the word manufacturing, because what put the bread and butter on the table every day, what creates jobs, and what allows our brain to evolve as intellectuals, as the people, those are practitioners, is what made America. If you go back in the history of the United States during the first recession, we came out roaring. Some of the best inventions, those are elevators, washing machines, dynamos. These are still making the economy. They came during the last recession and not during the good times. So sometime, and right now, the country has become a servicing organization and not a manufacturer. And I will talk about this theme because we are in the incredibly changing times. If you cannot see the letters, just look at these two books. The world is flat, and here is rising above the gathering storm. National Engineering Association tell that the jobs in this country are seriously challenged because we are not only competing right now for jobs, but we are competing for talents. And when I heard all these young children and the talent, we don't have to go anywhere. We can find it right here. And this was the most inspiring part of all day, to watch these young people with such incredible talent and the opportunity that you all have to make them become somebody and change the world. So as I continue this path of progress in the economic engine, this is what I started focusing on. And so the first bullet that I would like to share with you that I learned myself, that make your student ambitious. Because sometimes I meet some of the best graduates of the best schools in the world, and what they lack is an ambition. They lack that dream. And unless you dream, you can make it nothing out of it. And so I would request all of you to make your student dangerously optimistic and ambitious. Because if I can come to this country with $45, no suitcase, knew nobody in the 10,000-mile radius, I bet you all these students have brighter future than me. So make them ambitious and critical thinkers, and that is something I'm going to talk about it. In the spectrum of innovation, what is more important is that you have an idea. Means all these young children, they had an idea. And that idea is like a light bulb. And every student in your classroom is a genius. Because I do believe that God has gifted each of us with one talent at least. And sooner you discover that talent, the better it is. And as a professor myself, as teachers, as your colleague, I find my responsibility to discover that talent, because I discovered that at age 20 when I was growing up. That idea turns into an invention. So just like there was a lightning in the sky, and then Edison made a light bulb out of it. Then he decided to make millions of these light bulbs. That's when it became innovation, and he implemented to create light bulbs. I mean, you may not know, when Edison approached that time the powerful railway companies of the United States that I want to run the electric line along your railway lines, they said he's a foolish person. He said, who in the world want these electric lines to run across the United States to put the light bulbs? And where the railway companies are today and where the General Electric is. The rest is history. So this very power of implementation today, these very light bulbs have turned into LED lights. So this cycle and circle of innovation is one of the most powerful that invent and reinvent all of us. And so 4 important nuggets that are important, that you have a need, you have a goal, you have a desire and relentlessness, and you have a time that you're working on 7 days and 48 hours, 24 hours nowadays on electronic devices and 24 in the real world. So I work 7 days and 48 hours continuously and round the clock. So this critical thinking for myself started when I think about that, how can I make atoms work harder for me? I was talking to a financial organizer, and he said, AJ, you don't have to work hard. You have to make your money work harder for you. And I kept thinking about it. That's very interesting. You have to make your money harder than yourself. So I decided to turn that analogy into, I want to make these atoms work very hard for each of us, where the quality of life get better. And in that process, is it possible? It is absolutely possible. Think about it. Our all lives are right now circling with zeros and ones, digital electronics. Means each in this audience is touched by one thing, and that is digital electronics. And that digital electronics started with the cluster of atoms, what people call electronic devices. And these electronic devices have transformed our world, And I believe today the nanotechnology, what people fondly call, is transforming your world. And this became an accelerator. I mean, think about it. If you connect the dots, electronics, wireless communication, social media, nanotechnology, these are the accelerators of our life to increase the quality of life and take us to the next level of intellectualness. And that is very powerful because the ideas are limitless. I mean, I go across the world. I have traveled about 25, 30 countries, and the ideas are limitless. But there are only few people, those who truly believe those ideas and work relentless for it. Because it is not the money that you are chasing. It is the trust on your heart that I do believe it and I'm ready to give up my life for this. That's what you're working on. One of my most favorite movies is Gladiator. So when that gladiator is fighting for a life, that's what you become. If you believe your idea, you become that gladiator. And you are ready to do everything and anything to make that idea survive. And that's what we have thousands, and every student in your classroom has that one idea. So you have 22,000 ideas, Dr. Rollins, in your school right now. And imagine just 1% of that if you make it a reality. That is a horrendous opportunity that we have on our hand. Now, with that being said, I would like to reflect on the future. But at the same time, I want to look at the back. Because many a time, the past tell a lot about the future. And so if you look at during the last recession and as we came out, there was an industrial revolution. Industrial revolution is the revolution where really the discipline of engineering, science, what you call STEM, all STEM flourished during the industrial revolution. Because that's when you needed to understand, calculate, analyze, plan, plot, and all these needs. After that industrial revolution came information revolution. So now you are combining that zeros and one digits along with the machines. And that's why you have CNC machines and everything else. So nothing has left behind. It is just getting cumulatively added. And the next revolution, which is on the door, is the nanoscale revolution. What you're looking is a gear. This gear assembly is of the diameter of my hair, 70 micron. And you are managing the transfer of mechanical power at the size of my hair, and the atoms, those are attaching to the cell, delivering the drug to the people. And it is not, I'm talking, that is the future. It is today. Medicines, tires of the cars, machine tools, gas and oil industries are using nanotechnology today. So in your classroom, the unlimited projects that you are imagining is something very effective and required right now. What I would like to point out is that just like you have seen the transformation from analog electronics, you remember during the Second World War, there was a lot of radios, a lot of bulbs that you used to hear if you go back to older movies. That transformation has been from analog electronics to digital. Everything at micron scale now is going to nanoscale. Your mascaras, your pharmaceutical, your clothing, your every lifestyle is touched with this technology right now. You just can't see it, and that's the opportunity and the problem at the same time. How big is the nanoscale? So I would like you to look at this movie for a second. You will get an idea that as you can go up in the universe, you can go down in the universe as well. And I'm going to show you the length scale we are working with. This is the Mother Earth, and as you drop down on the street, what you're looking at is your street. This is one of the length scale, 1 meter. As you go further down, 1 centimeter. If you look at the eye of that, 100,000 nanometers. Red blood cell, 10,000 nanometers. Bacteria, 1,000 nanometers. Viruses, 100 nanometers. Nanometer. So at Nano-Mech, we are working at the scale of 10 to 100 nanometer. And we are building world bottom up. And that's why I call that we would like to build Google of material science right in Springdale in Arkansas. And that's what our dream is. So how big is the nanotechnology industry? It is very important that you see the economics. And the economics of nanotechnologies by 2015, this would be $3 trillion industry. And in the $3 trillion industry, we are not the only one. We have a competition. Look at that, who is competing. We are not only competing for talent, we are competing for jobs. Because as you all are going to train your students and prepare for them for the real world, there is a very nice book called War on Jobs. Because what is happening globally right now, that the middle class is growing significantly. And as the middle class is growing, there is going to be a requirement for quality of life. And there is going to be a war of jobs. So all the wars that you're hearing is that how to create more jobs, how to retain them, and how to grow them. And that's what the countries like China. China has built a whole city behind the nanotechnology. Russia just launched a fund, $10 billion fund, to recruit the company from United States and take them to Russia. So now this is a competition globally. Just like you hear about cyber attack on the websites and the servers from IRS to everybody, there is an invasion silently going on across the nanotechnology spectrum from the internationally. So with that being said, when I founded the business in 2002, I was in a small room by myself with a writing board and lots of ideas. But lots of people came, lots of like-minded people came, and today this is the business in Springdale, and we found Springdale as a home. We have a second office in Fayetteville near the University of Arkansas campus. Today, we have offices in Houston, gas and oil industry, Texas, Nano-Mech energy in Dallas, and in Detroit for automotive application. With that being said, now we are going to grow our office, and we just had groundbreaking. Where we want to go from here? We want to look something like this. In the next 5 years in Springdale, Arkansas, we want to have our headquarters look like this, and this is where we are heading. We have incredible amount of support nationally and internationally. Very coincidentally, despite the companies like Tyson, Walmart, J.B. Hunt in 2011, one of the key magazines in Arkansas has identified our company as the company to watch to grow. The company to watch, despite all these corporations. And the visitors as significant visitors. So if you're carrying a dollar bill around, some of those dollar bills would be signed by a person named Secretary Tim Geithner. And Secretary Tim Geithner traveled all the way from Washington to Springdale, Arkansas to see how the innovations are done and how the jobs are produced.
Relentless focus in making this country the best place in the world to create and build things, to start a company, invest in our future.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here. We know he could have gone to Silicon Valley, he could have gone easily over to Research Triangle, and for you to come here to Northwest Arkansas means the world to this community, and of course, obviously, a lot to this company. Dr. Malshe and his team of scientists that have come from all around the world and are taking that brain power, putting it to work to make that brand made in America mean what it should worldwide.
And this innovation really occurred, and a company like Nano can use it to make barcodes that can be used for genetic samples and a variety of others.
And nobody here is really interested in who's going to get the credit when we succeed. We're just simply focused blindly on results.
At the end of the day, one thing we all are here are Americans. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope all of you get a chance to see this technology. Secretary Geithner, thank you so much for this opportunity.
At the heart of this success is the people. When I came out of school, people told, oh, ideas is great. Technology is brilliant. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, you're gifted. No. I found out on the road that it is all about people. And that's how it is very important. If I may request the lights to be off on this side, that would be helpful so people can see the sharpness of the image. Can you put the lights off here? There are too many lights. Hello? I'm not that boring. Thank you very much. So at the heart of the Nano-Mech success story that is in making are these people. And these are the people across the world that come and work here and find their home just like myself. And that is a very powerful story. At the same time, you think about Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is not a Silicon Valley without Stanford, Berkeley, Caltech, and other schools. Very similarly, for outstanding companies, corporations, you need outstanding schools like Springdale High School, like HAR-BER High School, and like University of Arkansas. You need outstanding facilities where you have the world-class facilities where you can discover, invent, train, grow, and this is very important investment. So Governor Beebe and University of Arkansas and others have invested in some of the world-class instrumentation here. Your students in your classroom are most invited to go and look and work with these instruments today. So I wanted to give you an open, I'm one of the 3 founders of this institute, and I would like to give an open invitation to you all teachers to bring any and every student to come and visit here, because this is for our students and nobody else. This is where we train the best of the best. And training does not mean that you are good in the books and the exams. The training means you can apply what you do, what you imagine, and that's what we train, and we give them some of the world-class experience. And with that being said, one of the very important tools of any corporation that I like to request Springdale School District to start a program where you talk and teach students about how to commercialize it. If it is not late for them to learn the GIS, it is not late to learn them about commercialization. And it is very important because some of the best ideas come from some of the most unexperienced minds. And that's a very important tool. So we extensively patent, and today in the company, we have these multiple products. We have products in the cutting tools, lubricants, farming equipment, and a variety of others. These are the products that has won some of the world's most recognized award. Means award that is called the Oscar of Innovations is R&D 100. In 1 year, this company that is in your backyard has won R&D 100 award, Edison Award, one of the most prestigious. Another colleague or another peer who was winning this award was the owner of Tesla car company, Elon Musk. So this is some of the most prestigious awards, and some of the awards from the White House and Small Business Association, all in 1 year, right here in Springdale, done by people like all of us. And it is very important. I want you to feel as teachers and my colleagues, be proud about who we are. Because this is incredibly important, that pride and that ambition is built in our students. So the second skill set, after ambition, this all what you have seen was a sheer result of critical thinking and ambition. There was no more capital other than the investments. The next, figure it out. This ability of figuring it out is so powerful because it is not in any book. It is all in the brain and in the hands. And that figuring it out power, we got involved with the gas and oil industry. Gas and oil industry is one of the most powerful industry, creating the largest number of jobs in the United States. Arkansas has significantly benefited from that, if you do not know. And we got involved in the fossil fuel and exploration of gas and oil, because all world runs on machines, and machines run on lubricants. And we are in the business of that. We are in the $1 trillion business in Arkansas here. And with that being said, we are very close to what people call fracking operations, exploring gas, oil. I had traveled from Edmonton, Canada, to Louisiana and Odessa, Texas, to Pennsylvania, all the fracking fields. Those are going on right now. And with those being said, when we apply in these devices, onshore and offshore, some of these, our goal is to invent the next new molecule. Because think about this, I'm sure there are chemistry and physics teachers in this audience. Think about your periodic table. This periodic table is two-dimensional, all on the flat paper. We have about 20 centuries using two-dimensional periodic table. We have completely used all the periodic table. From hydrogen to plutonium somewhere here, we used everything. For 7 billion people, by 2045, expected to have 9 billion people. So from 7 billion to 9 billion, imagine 2 billion people more on the face of Earth, and we have no natural more resources. This is it. How are we going to support 2 billion people more? Where are the natural resources? We got to find out the materials. So just like digital technology became the must-to-have, the materials technology is must-to-have. And that's what is very important. So we got in the business of discovering new molecules, and we started competing with companies like Exxon, company like Shell, BP Castrol. So our competition is not a next small company. Our competition is Exxon. And this is a serious competition now. So this is just like saying when Walmart, Amazon got in the competition with Walmart. You are talking about $500 billion company, and we are starting to compete with the billions of dollars of companies. And this is where the nanotechnology is important, because when two mechanical surfaces come in contact, this is where they provide the incredible lubrication. And how is the astronomical effect? Astronomical. So if I tell you that using this technology, I'm extending the life of steel by 800%. 800% the life of steel is extended. If you don't believe me, this is the gas, one of the valves used in a gas and oil industry, and this is how it gets destroyed. This same valve in 10,000 cycle has a zero wear. So that means the steel on the face of Earth, we can extend by 800%. The life of that oil, we can extend by 100%. So that means the fossil fuel that we have, you have an opportunity to extend by 100% by discovery of that one molecule. And that's what the profession we are in. And with that being said, when you have a success like this is the validation you get.
Know that we've talked about Nano-Mech before. I've bragged on Jim, I've bragged on AJ, I've bragged on this program for several years.
The developments weren't done in our own laboratory, and I didn't see the results with my own eyes. I still wouldn't believe it today. This really is a technological breakthrough.
It not only helps every machine that's out there today, but it will usher in a new generation of machines, better machines, in multiple industries. And that's what makes us incredibly excited.
Our governor talked about the science, the importance of education, and connecting those dots with the well-being of the state is very important. So now the companies, significant corporations like GE, race car industries are taking a significant, so today, if you happen to like Formula One race cars, the #1 and #2 driver in the world, they are using this technology, and this is the Will Powers. He's the #1 Formula One car racer from Australia in the world. And he and I now have an opportunity to collaborate and develop the product here in Springdale and use on every race car across the world. Same thing, benefit in the trucking industry. Guess where we are? We are at the intersection of crossroads here, J.B. Hunt, Palm, and multiple other industries. And same, we are also not far from the automotive hubs. So this technology has went viral from oil, from lubricants, and now even we are in the strategic areas. Because remember, the future wars would be won by the countries that has the best UAVs. The countries that has the best UAVs, and these UAVs have mechanical machines. Those mechanical machines do make noise. And to reduce that noise is done again by lubrication. And now, how small the UAVs are, this is the size of the UAV. These are the UAVs that can go and participate in the missions across the globe operated by iPhones and iPads. And these devices need the technologies that we can invent and we can discover. So what I'm telling you about, that the power of imagination, the power of ambition, the power of critical thinking, and to tell you the truth, in my school, I never taken a single class in the mechanical machines. Never ever. I never taken a single class in lubrication engineering for automotive. I never learned automotive even. But I loved to work with my hands and figure it out. And that ability has made me excel along with my team incredibly to develop this product. And the last and not the least is that I have seen in the schools exponentially high importance to talk about IQ. Well, I have a good student. He's smart. He's good in math. He's good in science. But I have found out that you don't have to be only good in one area. You got to be good how to communicate. And people call the EQ. How to communicate, how to talk to people, how to transfer your ideas from you to others and make them go viral. And with that being said, I would like to touch upon the sustainability and the future directions. Dr. Rowling, if I may have about 5 minutes, if that is okay. Thank you. These are the technologies you would be hearing more and more in the years to come, just like you hear about electronics, digital technology, wireless. One, digital manufacturing, 3D printing. Do not be surprised that 10 years from now that you can drive in McDonald's, push on your iPhone that I want a hamburger, and that hamburger would be printed at the drive-in, and you would pick and leave. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised that for Christmas, I love dusted truffles. And you would have those beautiful dusted truffle printed in the mall that your daughter has ordered from her phone, and they are getting printed when you're doing shopping at Nordstrom or any other place. Because 3D printing technology is that pervasive, you come up with a great fashion, and your student want to print that dress, and you should be able to print it by 3D printing. So we are transferring our imagination on the tabletop and factory floor enormously. And just think about it, with 2 billion people on the earth more, 2 billion people more. And what is happening? That the average lifespan of each human is increasing. It used to be 40. Now, last century is 40, this century is 20. I feel like I'm still 30-year-old. I can run, I can walk, I can work 18 hours. I'm not old anymore. So with extended lifespan, with the 2 billion people more, the shortage is going to be organs, human organs. And where are those new organs going to come from? Those organs will be printed. Do not be surprised 20 years from now that you will be printing artificial heart. And I'm not talking about Valentine's Day here. I'm talking about real human heart that would be implanted for patients across the world. And with that being said, limitations of these all inventions and materials and the opportunities all the way from a pots and pan in the Stone Age to the iPad in this century, the future holds to make new materials by nanoscale engineering. And that's what is very powerful. Is it something new? Is it something absolutely discovered? No. Mother Nature, one of the biggest teacher of mine is Mother Nature. I found solution for practically everything in the Mother Nature. Mother Nature has built beautiful of these shells that you would find on the ocean side in Destin by nanoscale engineering. And the applications of that are amazing. Think about this application. The beautiful butterfly, magenta color, white light falling. So is a butterfly really have a chemical in it, like a paint? No. Butterfly wings are colorful because of structures, not because of paint. This is how Mother Nature has done texturing on the wings of the butterfly. White light comes in. Because of the periodicity of this texture, the green light gets cut off. What comes out of it is beautiful magenta color. And this butterfly is flying around with that texture on the wing. With those kind of opportunity, if we can fabricate that in the laboratory, you can create next generation of beautiful mascaras by no chemical, but just structural colors. So I want to present an opportunity to you to think like Mother Nature has built all of us. This same technology now can be applied in your dollar bills for the security. Same in the name tags, or same in the price tags, as these technologies would go across the multiple lens scale just by sizing effect. No color, no chemical, no disposable, just by structures. This is very unique. This is very simple physics. Another example that I would like to draw your attention to is Gecko. You might have seen the Mission Impossible, the latest one, where Tom Cruise is walking on this enormous building in Dubai. And you say, how in the world he did that? Gecko. Gecko is gifted with these kind of hair on the palm, and he can manipulate the electrostatic forces, and he can walk on the mirror just like nobody. Same technologies can be applied by the special forces on the special missions. And with those technologies, if you can manipulate that in the laboratory, you can also create those kind of structure for patches. Patches. But think about it, how many times you put a bandage on your skin and after a few hours it is peeling off from all sides and it annoys you. You can create those structures not by using any adhesive, but just by manipulating the forces at the interface that you would learn in your Physics 1 class. It is that simple, but it is that powerful. And Mother Nature has used that very cleverly. So on the left-hand side, you would find, let me see. For some reason, this media is not working. The last and the least, but not the least importance, is super hydrophobic. How many times you come in the rain and your dress is all wet and you have to be here 7 hours teaching your classroom and you are feeling soggy and annoying, and then, like Dr. Rowling, if you work hard and hard and hard, you have this socks and it's getting soggy and it has an infection, not good at all. You want textile for a better quality of life that has a super hydrophobicity just like a lotus leaf. But think about the irony that nature has built. Lotus, beautiful flower, and that leaf that is in all the muddy land, it can clean itself just like in a second. You drop of water, it just rolls out. It just drops of water, and it annoys me every time I go and take my car for a water wash. I come out, there are droplets, collect dust, and next morning I think, why I paid this all money? So how about having the mirrors of your cars that can be super hydrophobic? Because Mother Nature has done it, and it takes simple laws of physics, nothing more complicated than that. How many times you have been in the restaurant and you have these last few milliliters of ketchup in the bottle and you are trying to get that out on that last pieces of fries and it just annoys out of you. Miss, think about 1 billion bottles, 10 milliliter of ketchup, and do the math, how much ketchup go waste. But if I have a bottle, and if it happened to be super hydrophobic, I can take out all the ketchup what I want. There is no wastage. And this engineering is all done at nanoscale. Same thing on your clothing. You can have clothing that can clean by itself. So what I would like to end my talk is that please teach your students how to make the things. Because we have become the culture between business, books, beer, and burgers. We stopped making the things. And I urge people to make the things, because when you make the things, your dots in the brain start getting connected. So with that being said, I'm going to request you with a question. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Thank you very much. It is an opportunity and privilege to be here, and all the best wishes for the new year. Anything me and my company associates can do, we are just one call away. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you.
Dr. Malshe, thank you for being with us today. Here's the connection I'd like to make very quickly. With Dr. Malshe and about 50 other Springdale business leaders in the room, several months ago, we began to talk about innovation and a school of innovation. And he has been and will continue to be a partner with us throughout this process. Again, Dr. Malshe, thank you.
Thank you.
Taking Friedman's challenge, preparing our graduates to be innovation ready. Our Springdale schools begin to bring our resources together, community, as I just said, and then great teachers who are thinking about how to address this wonderful challenge that's in front of us. Today we have 10 staff members. We have a place to begin our School of Innovation. On Monday, we will serve 200 plus kids. Can I ask the staff from our School of Innovation to stand, and let's please encourage and thank them for their great work. As I've said to you over the last 2 days, our School of Innovation will become a lab school that will help each of us serve our children at even higher levels. Thank you all, and we'll continue with our program. Mr. Schaefer.
That's pretty overwhelming, wasn't it? Seriously, when you look at that, you're thinking this is things when we were little kids we looked at and thought, well, that'll happen someday maybe, and now we see it right here being designed in Springdale, Arkansas. We have a lot of talented students in our district. You're about to hear from another group. This is the Turnbow Elementary School Choir, and it's led by Olga Trevino.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the next keynote. Dr. Joe DiMartino is the founder and president of the Center for Secondary School Redesign. He is a nationally recognized leader in the area of high school redesign. For nearly a decade, he served as the director of the Secondary School Redesign program at Brown University, where he gathered a diverse assembly of educators who were willing to experiment with high school personalization and student engagement. While at Brown, Dr. DiMartino wrote articles, he edited books, and he designed workshops focused on reform. He's closely associated with the National Association of Secondary School Principals, where he was one of the main architects of Breaking Ranks. And in recognition of his contribution to breaking ranks and breaking ranks in middle schools, he received the NASSP Distinguished Service Award in 2006. Dr. DiMartino holds a bachelor's degree in engineering and economics from Brown University, a master's degree in special education and counseling from Rhode Island College, and a PhD in culturally responsive education from Brown University. Through the Race to the Top grant, we have contracted with the Center for Secondary School Reform for technical assistance, and much of that assistance comes from Dr. DiMartino. He is here, as we are, to provide the highest levels of service to our kids. Please welcome Dr. Joe DiMartino.
This has been an exciting assembly so far. It kind of feels like a baseball game to me. It was started out by saying, well, this is opening day. And after the singing of the national anthem, I felt like yelling out, play ball, right? And now this is the 7th item on the agenda. So you know what that means. It's the 7th inning stretch. So I'm going to ask you all to stand and join me in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game and support the naturals that are playing here in Springdale, okay? Here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. Root for the Naturals. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys are much more enthusiastic about that than I had expected. I think that's wonderful. I appreciate it. And I was asked to talk about elevating student voice and the role of student voice in racing to the top through using student voice. And I do want to talk about that, but I want to just start with a little personal story. My wife and I, long time ago, we had 4 children, 2 biological children, 2 adopted children. We adopted 2 boys from Guatemala. And this current border crisis with the kids coming up from Guatemala has made me think a lot about my relationship to those 2 boys. And the thing that gets me, people will say to me, what a wonderful thing we did, my wife and I. And our response is always that we got a lot more out of it than they did. Having those boys in our family, having a different perspective. Because they were 8 and 12 when we got them. They're Guatemalan. I mean, they didn't grow up in America. But that added perspective so much changed my life that it's hard to put in words. And it certainly was not something that I could say I got a lot out of. I mean, they got a lot of. I can say I got a lot out of it. And the point I want to make with that is you have those kids in your schools every day. The diverse kids who come from different places, who have different stories, who can really help you to become a better person. So, So I ask you to listen to their voices. And as I'm talking about the Race to the Top District grant and other things, I know you've already been doing a lot of that because this is a great district. This is an exciting time to be in Springdale, without a doubt, and it is one of the very finest, if not the very finest school district I have ever come across. And we work across the country. And that's a testament to Dr. Rollins, administrative staff, but mostly it's a testament to all of you and what you do and how you bring a culture of caring about kids into the classroom. I haven't been to all your classrooms, I've been to some, but I know enough from the conversations I've had that this is a very special place. So thank you all. And that special place is really why Race to the Top got the highest score in the country on this competition. It's not just you were one of the top 5, you were number 1, okay? You were number 1. You were the Race to the Top competition was at least as much about what you had already done as about what you planned to do. So it was all about what you've already accomplished. So you should be very proud of that. But having said that, there's still more to do. And that's why, again, it's an exciting time to be here in Springdale. So why did you win the grant? For all the things that you've already heard about today is why you won the grant, okay? Plus you had a vision of moving forward and doing even better. It's that combination that allowed you to do what you wanted, what you had to do. And of all the accolades, Dr. Rollins, you missed one. Springdale High and HAR-BER High have been chosen to present at the National Association of Secondary School Principals Showcase, 2 of 20 high schools from around the country that are assembled at a conference in San Diego coming up in February. So among the top 20 of the high schools in the country for this past year. So another round of applause, please, for Springdale High and HAR-BER High. Thank you. Okay, so as a direct result of all the successful stuff, and the goals of the grant are building on the base that you've already established. And these are the goals of the grant. You've probably seen that, right? Drastically accelerate student learning, close the experience gap. And that, when I talk about the kids that come from other countries, many of them have an experience gap. And thinking consciously about how we help close that would become a very important, positive thing to do. It's an honorable goal to be a goal of the grant. Again, all of these things are why Springdale is such a great place. And then deepen student learning through personalized learning strategies supported by a culture of collaboration. So those are the goals. They align very nicely with work that we've been promoting and supporting here in Springdale and in other places. And our work is organized a little differently, but I think you'll see that it all ties in. And so when we talk about guiding personalized learning and personal learning plans and personalized teaching and community-based learning, personalized assessment, personalized systems. That's kind of the framework we use. But even before I get into that framework, our keynoter mentioned that, and Dr. Rollins mentioned Tom Friedman's, the world is flat. Well, one year he was a keynoter at the National Association of Secondary School Principals conference, and he related a story when he was out at a school, I think it was in Minnesota, talking about the world is flat, and that learning the disciplines as we know them were not anywhere near as important as learning how to learn. So he's talking about this to a group of high school freshmen. And little Johnny in the front row raised his hand and asked Tom Friedman, Mr. Friedman, what course do I take to learn how to learn? And Tom's response was brilliant. He said, find the teacher in your school that is the most energized and invigorating teacher in the school. And I don't care what she teaches. Take her course. She'll teach you how to learn. So I suspect many of you would be that teacher. So just continue that enthusiasm, what you do, and help kids learn how to learn, because I think that's a real important element. And when we talk about personalizing learning, that's a key part of what we're talking about. All right, so when we talk about guiding personalized learning, right, we talk about creating advisory programs. I know the junior highs have them, the middle schools are about to implement them, high schools will have them. It's all about finding better ways to get kids' voice to be in the conversation about their learning and about the culture of the school. Okay, and by the way, this feels like being in a baseball park, and I keep wanting to look up at the guys up in the mezzanine up there, and so hello up there. And if, I know I never hit a home run that far, so you're safe. So you know, when we talk about an advisory program, there are several key elements that are real important. But most important, you start with a purpose. Why are you doing this? What do you hope to get kids to accomplish through the advisory program? And too often, I think the purpose is limited to relationship building. I think relationship building is important, but I think there should be an academic focus as well. And I think we're getting there with the purpose of the advisories here at places like Central Junior High. And I'm just going to give you one example of the power of advisories, okay, and what it can do for you. This is from a school in Granger, Washington. The principal who did this actually came and worked with us for a while as a school change coach. He's a fabulous man. His name is Ricardo Esparza. And when he went to become the principal at Granger High, he was going into a school that had the highest crime rate in the state of Washington, where a student had been murdered in the school in the previous school year, where the graduation rate was abysmal, where 90% of the students were eligible for free or reduced meals, 20% were children of migrant farm workers. I mean, about as dire a situation as you could find anywhere. So he was the lowest in everything, right? Highest Hispanic, highest bilingual, highest migrant, highest free and reduced lunch. You know, #1 in the state in all those categories. And then one of the things that happened during that first year that changed his life, he was approached by a woman who was active in the school, involved in the PTA. He had just had to expel her son during the second semester of his senior year. And the mother came in tears to beg Ricardo to let his son back. We need a good job. We need him to be great. You know, he's going to support the entire family. I need him to be able to graduate and we get a good job. And Ricardo pulled out that young man's transcript and found out that in his 3.5 years at Granger High, he'd only passed 6 courses. So he had to tell that woman that Johnny won't graduate this year, nor next year, and probably not the year after that, because it will take him that long to make up for his lost credits. He left that meeting feeling so miserable and so terrible that he was determined that he would never be in a conversation like that again. There were never going to be any more seniors in his school that didn't know exactly where they stand, and that people in the school knew where they stood and figured out how they could help him. So as a result of that, they created an advisory program. And this is the purpose of what he set up. And you know, a lot of it's about relationship building, about being known, but the big one to me is number 6 at the bottom. Oops. There it is. Be prepared for whatever he or she chooses to do after graduation with a strong transcript, a career pathway, a plan, and a portfolio. And those are the kinds of things that we're talking about here, because the worst of your students can be successful with that kind of support and with that kind of a planning process. This is what they did for advisory. They grouped the kids heterogeneously at grade level, groups of 20. They met 4 times a week for 30 minutes. And they shifted from parent-teacher conferences to student-led conferences, all parts of what we would like to accomplish here. So what happened at Granger? When he started, you can see the columns. 2001, percentage of kids meeting the state standards. 2007, the percentage of kids meeting the state standards. You can see what happened from the highest reported crime rate to the lowest reported crime rate. And graduation rates went from 58% to 95%. and the attendance at parent conferences went from 10% to 100%. And it ended up 5, 6 years in a row, twice a year, because they did it each semester. Every student had a related adult they lived with come to that school for a student-led conference. Sometimes an aunt or an uncle, sometimes a grandparent, but it was a related adult they lived with. Every student, every semester, for 6 years in a row. And he will tell you, and he's a great guy, by the way, he is a great guy, that it was all to do all around that advisory. If he hadn't have done the advisory, if they hadn't have done the advisory, they would never have been able to accomplish the things that they did. So when we talk about raising student voice and doing things to help reach all kids, there's a reason why we talk about student-led conferences as being a prime ingredient and advisory as a prime ingredient. And if you notice, they had a portfolio and as part of what they presented in the student-led conference. So all things that are in the planning stages, but that the Race to the Top grant is going to help Springdale add to the already good stuff that you're doing. So part of that's a personalized learning process, and we think that a mistake a lot of people make is they think of a personal learning plan as a document, and it really needs to be a process where you engage kids in the conversation, and then you document that conversation. So it's not that you don't document it, it's that you don't start with having to fill in blanks in a document. Start with how do we reach this kid and find out what their goals are. Well, who are they now, and where would they like to go? Okay, so it's a circular thing, and it keeps building on itself, and it kind of looks like this, right? Where it's a continuous process where you start with who am I, and you start looking at some of the resources that you can get at helping the kids figure out who they are. And then from there, goals, what do they want to become, okay? And again, aspirations. Then you thought more, what does that lead to? Course selection, it leads to job shadows and projects and all that stuff. And then reflection, what did I learn? And at this point, this is where you go to the student-led conferences. The students present what they learned to their advisor, their parents, and anybody else they want to invite. And then back to the beginning. So it continues circular, and it's where to go. So that's personalized learning. Personalized teaching includes a lot of different elements. Won't spend a lot of time talking about that here, but these things are underway throughout the district. I heard all of that great stuff about the East projects. I mean, there's just so many good things going on in this district that all of them really, really build ways to be able to personalize learning that are really dramatic. So again, thank you, all of you, for having done that. The high schools and the junior highs have gotten a waiver for seat time and to go to competency for earning credit, or that they can go to competency for earning credit. That's a big, big thing. I mean, it sounds simple. It's a big thing, okay? It gives you the opportunity to do what's right for kids without regard to how long it takes or how little time it requires. We now live in an environment where time is the constant and learning is the variable. We now have the opportunity to make learning the constant and time the variable. And that's an opportunity that exists in only 11 high schools in this state, I was told. 7 of them are high schools and juniors, 7 of them right here in Springdale. And that's a plus for the iSchool that you're talking about, the School of Innovation, but it also is a way for Springdale to really become a national leader in these conversations, because there aren't that many places where kids can actually advance when ready, move on when ready. Basically, by moving to a demonstrating mastery of competency, the students don't have to abide by the clock. They're off the clock. It's an interesting challenge that will allow, but in order to get there, you got to be personalized. You got to find ways to reach each kid to help them work forward. And again, the learning becomes the constant, and the time becomes the variable. And it sounds simple, but it's not. It's pretty complex, but people are working on it. We're over at the School of Innovation this morning. That's a great place where it's getting started. But there's no doubt in my mind that this district will be leading the nation in helping everybody figure out how we could really focus on students and move away from time towards learning. And so some of these strategies that teachers will use to be as they go forward. Now, the previous speaker, I apologize for not remembering his name, invited you to go to his establishment to bring students there. Well, I would encourage you to ask him if you could have kids do projects based on what they do there. Not just visit, okay? And if they're going to do an internship, not just be there to be a file clerk, but actually do projects of their interest that are on the community. And we found that that becomes a very powerful way to get kids into deep learning experiences because it's something they care about. Something they care about. So if they focus on something they care about, they're going to go a lot more deeply into it than if it's something you care about and you tell them to do it. It's basically a very big difference. And talk about the different types of assessments. You do some of all of these, but if you think about it, you have, I believe, some common units with common assessments and common scoring guide. That isn't personalized, but it's a great tool for teachers to use to help them improve their trade. So it's okay, even though it's not personalized, because it's the same assessment and the same task for everybody. This one here is more onerous and more actually what happens all the time. It's an uncommon learning experience. Different kids in different classrooms in different schools with different teachers all take the same state test. Okay, and it's scored in common so that there's no variable scoring for anybody. But what we would like to see more of, and East allows for this, is some opportunities where the learning experience is uncommon, where each student can create a project, and the assessment task would be uncommon. They'd be doing their own project. It'd include an exhibition. They might decide to do a video instead of write a paper, so that they can have a variety of different assessment tasks. And then to make sure that we're getting reliable results that are comparable across the district, we'd have to craft a common rubric to use against these various uncommon tasks. And I see that as a very important way for us to move this whole agenda forward, where we can deepen learning through performance assessments that are personalized, and yet we got some way of getting at common calibration of scoring that allows for us to be satisfied that it's valid and reliable. And then the last one is where it's all individualized. Kids set their goals, they do their work, and they decide what's going to be success in that. And I think it'd be great to have some opportunities like that for students. I'll just quickly look at this, but our goal is that we're going to do assessments of this type here, which are student-generated projects that go to deep learning. And you already do some of this, and that's, again, Career Academy kids do this on a regular basis. My only suggestion is, why just the Career Academy kids? Why can't we get this to be the deeper learning that everybody gets? Okay? And that's it. That's the description of that column I was talking about, student design projects, longer, deeper investigations and exhibitions, including graduation portfolios, requires initiate, design, conduct, analyze, revise, and present their work in multiple modalities. That's really where we want to get with kids. We want them to be able to do that. And now, what the grant does, and the last of our categories, we had the various personalized systems. And the grant allows this system to put in place all of the systems that support personalizing learning, that support using student voice to move forward. Thank you.
Well, there's a man after my own heart. You know, when he first started up here, I didn't know if that was Joe Martino or Joe DiMaggio. It was pretty good, wasn't it? Named after him. Very good. In the essence of time, we are going to go to the 8th inning. We were going to have 3 more. We're going to have 2 more, 8th and 9th innings. We've got a choir that's about to perform for you. We have a video that we did for today, and I want to give Trent Jones and his staff great credit for putting it together. We interviewed 6 seniors from last year's class about what this faculty meant to them. We're going to make that available on a link and email that to everybody tomorrow, so you'll be able to look at that. Meantime, next up on our entertainment, you've heard them before. This is one of the great choral groups in the Springdale School District.
Who are they?
Well, they go by the name of Superintendent's Choral Group,
Yeah,
so there you
yeah.
go.
So long, summer, so long, summer, so long, summer, we hate to see you go. So long, summer, so long, summer, so long, summer, we hate to see you go. Tests will help with PLCs to deter PGPs. Use your tools efficiently. We gotta teach them all. So long, summer, it is gone. Back to school, have fun.
Thank you. At this time, I need for you to stand up, and this is the true 7th inning. If you've been to a Boston Red Sox game, we want you to join in with us. So good, so good. Stephen, hit it.
Where it began, I can't begin to know it, but then I know it's growing strong.
Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along?
Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Oh, sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. Yeah, I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh no. Do 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 do. Oh, sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh no, no, no. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh, oh, oh.
Well, they're just terrific, wouldn't you say? That is fabulous. Talent scouts in the audience bring the contracts. That's all I can say. We started today with our students. Springdale students leading the way. Our closing speaker today is someone that many of you know so very well. You might have seen him here as the guest conductor with the George Junior High Band. I want to invite Michael Robinson, a former Springdale graduate, to come and close for us today. Michael, come on. I'm so proud of this young man, and I know his mom's here and probably brothers are here as well. Our work is what I wanted you to see today, and you saw it with our students from Sonora and our student from J.O. Kelly and our George Junior High kids. You even saw it from these kids who just left the stage, didn't you? This young man's special. He was special when he was here. He showed us what character looks like each and every day. He was a great student. He led our kids in all the right ways in virtually every activity associated with school. He went on to Brown University, Joe, where he represented Brown University extremely well. And I wanted him to come back and talk to you because, again, I want you to see what your work produces. Michael Robinson. Mike.
Man, you guys are going to put me to work today. You know, they tell you it goes fast, but it just seems like yesterday I was getting ready to leave. And when I was here, I was a Parson Hills Panther, a J.O. Kelly Knight, a George Wrangler, and a SHS Bulldog. You know, getting ready for today was a little stressful. I'm not really afraid of public speaking, but I was just going through my mind a lot of different things. I'm a really bad overthinker. And I was just like, does this room full of teachers really want some arrogant recent college grad coming up here and telling them how things are supposed to be or how they run? Or, you know, that's why they have all these people here with these doctoral degrees coming up here. And so when I finally relaxed, I figured out that I just wanted to say that there's so much more going on in the classroom than what we often think and perceive. At Brown, one of the greatest things I learned was that experiences shape everything that we become and who we are. One of the most influential professors I had was a sociology professor named Gregory Elliott. And he would always say, what gets in early gets in deep. What he meant was that in child development, we all grow up forming different versions of how we think the world works. Good or bad, that's the way that we think. And the younger we are, the deeper down it gets. And as we grow older, the more it solidifies. Early on, I had a very negative perception of how the world worked. I grew up with a single mom and 2 younger brothers and was a free and reduced lunch student. I spent a lot of time in and out of hospitals because of my asthma, and the doctors didn't think I was going to make it to graduation. I've always had a stutter, and it took a while for me to feel like I had friends because I would always get bullied for it. Even after I was surrounded myself with good friends, I found connecting with people hard because of various abuses I experienced growing up. Despite everything, though, I had 2 dreams growing up. The first was that one day I would have a family. I always dreamed that maybe one day I could be the father I knew I always deserved growing up. The second was that I knew it was always communicated to me that if I wanted a better life, the education was going to be my ticket. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford it, so my second dream was that I might be able to get a scholarship. I didn't know what I would study or where I would go, but I just hoped that someone would give me a chance. Hope seemed to be a key part to both of my dreams. You know, I had a lot of teachers, and over the years they taught me a lot of things, but the teachers I needed the most were the ones that taught me hope. Everything I had to overcome growing up seemed normal to me, as it often does to everyone going through things. And it's only on the other side that I realized it wasn't. And I'm able to stand on the stage today because of my mom and every single teacher that I had. One thing that we often say as Americans is that you can overcome anything, your background, the way you're born, anything, and achieve anything. To a certain extent, I believe that, but who is teaching that to the students that are going to be coming on Monday? For some students like me, there is a constant war of voices telling them they don't matter, their potential doesn't matter, and they should just stop trying because failure is expected of them. And that's often what I believed in myself because of my background. No matter how hard we work, there will always be forces that try to undo everything we desire for students. Getting ready for today, I got to talk to the teacher who did the Sonora East project, and I asked him, why do you teach? And I asked a lot of teachers this, and I got to hear wonderful stories. And I'm convinced that why you teach will come to influence how you define success for your students during the next year. And that how you end up defining success will determine why you continue to teach in the future years. From the teachers I got to speak with, hope also seemed to be a common thread. Hope that through education, students would discover that they are capable of more than they ever imagined and reach their full potential. Teachers like that changed my life. At that same meeting, I got this story from the Sonora East teacher, and he said that, you teach every year and you always wonder if anything you said or did actually made any difference. And I think he's right. That's always going to be a clawing force in the back of your head, because you have a small window where you get to see your students for a year. And then you send them off to the next teacher, and for most of them, you're not going to know where they go. You're not going to know what happened to them. You're not going to know where they end up. And all you can do is hope and keep on trying every day, even when it gets hard, because you have the opportunity to do so much more in that classroom than you'll ever know. For a small window, you have the ability to be a part of a child's story. And I'm happy that I get to stand up here and thank all the teachers, the schools, and the district that gave me a chance, that pushed me to my potential and made a little boy feel like he belonged somewhere. I debated whether or not I was going to tell stories about when I was growing up, because I didn't want to start naming names and then feel like I had to name everyone. But I think a couple stories would help. I remember being in the George Junior High choir, and I didn't know how to tie a tie. And the only reason I was able to tie my tie this morning was because Don Hoover showed me how. One of the greatest stories of hope I got to read growing up was Harry Potter. And I remember I was able to read 1 through 4. Well, Melissa Fink read 1 through 4 for the West Center classroom. And then to make sure that I had the 5th one, she took me and my little brother. My mom gave us some money to go buy the books, and we went. And she was there for us until midnight. And then I remember when the 6th book came around, it took another principal, Sarah Ford, who used to bring the bookmobile through the school neighborhoods. And I was looking at some of the websites, and I know that Sonora is doing the same thing. And I remember Sarah Ford asked me what books I was reading, and she went out of her way to make sure that she brought me the 6th Harry Potter book when it came out. And finally, I didn't think I was, going to be capable of a lot when I reached high school. A lot of the AP papers and all that scared me a lot. And I remember, I was like, if I graduate, it'll be fine. But then there was this lady named Carol Turley who kept pestering me over and over again about getting into her IB program. And it was only through there that I was able to get the scholarship that I had, because Brown's one of the first universities that recognized IB. And if I could say anything today, it's just that they weren't just books. It wasn't just a classroom. It wasn't just a band or a choir that I was in. You guys are changing kids' lives and creating spaces where they feel like they can do anything. Thank you.
I want to give you a gift. Thank you. Thank you. Stand right here with me. Michael, you've given us memories that we will cherish forever. Thank you for who you are. I wanted to just give him something on our behalf. Our Springdale School District does this quite often. But in acknowledgement of the honor and recognition he has brought to his school district, his city, his community, and his state through his distinguished achievements as a Springdale graduate that will impact all concerned, we recognize Michael Robinson as a true and cherished friend of the Springdale School District. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Great job, sir. We're poised to have the best year in the history of our Springdale School District. Our kids are waiting. Go forward and do great work. Thank you.